Good morning, fourth graders. This is Mrs. R again, coming back to you with science. And you may be saying, holy handbakes, Mrs. R, what are we going to learn today? Well, today we're learning the parts of the seed. And we're going to be looking at that. I have soaked some lima bean seeds in water for 2 days so that they're nice and swollen and ready to be taken apart so we can see the 3 parts of the seed. You can try this at home if you wish. You know, it works on beans of any type, or lima beans are the best just because they're large. Just soak them for a couple nights. They'll swell. The seed coat will be able to be easily removed, as I show you in a moment, and just don't eat them. Kids always ask me every year, can I eat it? Well, it's not going to hurt you, but yeah, don't. Anyway, yeah, it's not going to taste very good anyway. But anyway, so I'm going to show you what I'm looking at exactly, and walk you through the different parts, and we'll go from there. Okay, hold that thought.
This is what we're focusing on right now. Is we have the seed coat, which kind of like a coat, you know, you put on a coat because you're cold and it helps protect you from the cold and from the outer elements. That's what a seed coat does for a seed. You have the 2 cotyledons, or stored food. That's the food that the seed needs in order to push itself up through the soil and begin to grow in order for it to photosynthesize. Prior to being able to have a green leaf up above the ground, it has to have food to eat, and so that's what the 2 cotyledons, or stored food, is for. And then you have the embryo, which is the baby tiny plant, and you can see it right there. It's pointing to it. So we're going to look for those things as we're dissecting our seed. Now, as I said before, the cotyledons, or the stored food, is a seed has to have energy from somewhere to be able to give it enough energy to be able to push itself through the soil so that it can start growing green leaves to then begin to photosynthesize, which, if you remember, that means making its own food. So until that happens, they have to have energy from somewhere, and that's what the 2 stored food is, or the 2 cotyledons. That's also, on a side note, the part that we eat. When you eat beans, pinto beans, or the inside of green beans, or lima beans, or many different types of beans, that's a source of food for us as well. So now we're going to watch the dissection of the seeds, and I'll point out each part to you. First, sorry if it's a little blurry or a little shaky, I'm going to take some of the seeds and, I can do this, and place them on a black paper, so hopefully it's a little easier to see. Now right here you can already see there's a seed coat that has come off from one of the lima beans. It just looks like this, and it's a little bit slimy. Oh, there's an embryo right there that just fell out and stuck to my finger now. But there's the seed coat. That's what it looks like, and they're pretty easy to, after they've soaked for a couple days, it's pretty easy just to pop them right off if you want to try this at home. But there is the seed coat. Here's the cotyledon, which we can easily split apart. And then right there is our tiny embryo, which I can pick that off. And it's kind of hard to see on here, and it's sticky to my finger. But that, I don't know if I can get this to focus, sorry. That is, there we go, tiny little leaves. And notice that they're not green yet. Until they get above the soil, they stay kind of this color. And then once they're above the soil, the chlorophyll comes in, and they begin to photosynthesize and make their own food. So here's one more, I'll just show you one more time. Pop the seed coat off. And then we have the 2 cotyledons, or the stored food. Oops. And then sometimes the embryos fall off very easily, or they're a little harder to find. But I don't see one on that. But just something you can try at home. If you were here in school, we would have you, do this, and you would tape them to the paper, and you would label the parts to help you remember which part is which. But you just want to remember you have the 2 cotyledons, which is the stored food, the embryo, which is the baby tiny plant, and then the seed coat. Now, when completing this practice book page, which is page 37 and 38, you're going to be labeling the parts that I just did, where you have the seed coat, and that it protects the baby seed, or the embryo. And then you have the embryo, which is the baby tiny plant. And then you have the stored food, or the two cotyledons, which is the stored food. That's all you need to do there. Here, you're going to need to label the different parts of the flower and tell what each part does. So just walking through this quickly, you have the sepal, which is the part that protects the bud. You have the petals, which attracts the pollinators. You have the pistil, pew, 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 and, you know, like a gun, pew, pew. The pistil, which makes the seeds, and then you have the stamens, which produces the pollen. That's all you have to do there. Then on the back side, you have the crown, which is the top of the tree, the trunk, and then the roots. Crown, trunk, roots, crown, trunk, roots. So that's all you need to do to complete that page. Please try to spell them correctly, as the answers are in your science practice book, or your big science book. So spell them correctly, and if you don't know how to spell them, like I'm not expecting you to know how to spell cotyledons, then just look it up in your book. Okay, we're gonna practice the different parts of the tree. Stand up, do this with me. It'll help you remember the different parts of the tree. So you have the crown, which, like, you know, a king or queen would wear a crown. You have the trunk, which is the middle part of the tree, and then you have the roots down here, which are under the ground. So do it with me. Crown, trunk, roots, crown, trunk, roots, crown, trunk, roots, crown, trunk, roots, crown, trunk, roots. Woo! And you just did your PE for the day while you were at it. Good job. Okay, to finish this lesson, you're going to be reading pages 59 through 60 in your science book. Also, be sure to complete pages 37 and 38 in your science practice book. And if you have time and inclination, that means, you know, feeling like doing it, I would suggest also playing the Kahoots and practice those Kahoots for Science Quiz 5 and Science Quiz 6. Those are going to help prepare you for the test as well. And don't forget to hit on that personalized learning toggle that's, or I don't know if toggle's the right word, thing on that front page before you begin the game in Kahoot, so that it will retest you on the ones that you've missed. I've sent your parents the links so that all you have to do is hit the link and it will take you directly to that Kahoot game instead of you having to try to search and find under my name in the Kahoots. So hopefully that helps. I know Mrs. Malim and Mrs. Christensen's have done the same thing for their students, so all you have to do is find the link, click on it, and you can play it. Hope you had a little bit of fun and enjoyment today, and Stitch and I say bye-bye. See you